A man whispered her name on the train. She'd never met him, but he handed her a journal. And when she opened it, she found that it was written by her father. But he'd written those words years before she was even born. He'd dreamed of her and had a friend promise to give this to her one day. Someday soon, he said, she would understand. This is the story of the stranger on the train. It was a cold winter day. The wind howled like a hungry wolf outside, but inside the train the girl felt warm. Not because of the hot chocolate in her hands, but because of the kind eyes that were looking at her from across the table. She didn't know that man. He'd been staring at her for the past few minutes, and now he was whispering her name. "Eleanor, I've been waiting for you." Those words sent shivers down her spine. He reached out and handed her something. "What's this?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "It's for you," he said. "Open it." Hesitantly, she did. It was an old leather journal. On the front cover, she saw her name embossed in gold letters. She opened it, and inside she saw beautiful cursive writing. It took her a moment to realize that it was her name. He'd written all these words before she was born. Was he some kind of stalker? Was this some sick joke? Why had he written all this? And why was he giving it to her now? She looked up at him, but he only smiled mysteriously. "Do you know who I am?" he asked her. She shook her head, confused. "I'm your father's friend," he said. "He spoke of you often. He dreamed of you, too." Her father had passed away before she was born. All she knew about him was that he'd loved her deeply. His journal was the only thing she had of his that still smelled faintly of him. The man continued. "He gave me this journal and asked me to give it to you one day. He believed you'd understand someday." Of course, she didn't understand. How could anyone understand all this talk of destiny and soulmates and fate? How could anyone believe in such things? Still, something in his eyes, maybe the kindness in them, made her want to believe. She closed the journal, tears welling up in her eyes. "Why are you giving it to me now?" she whispered. The man sighed. "He never said when exactly you'd understand. I thought it was now. You must be getting close to his age where he'd written those words." She thought about what he'd said. Maybe it was true. Maybe it was time she read this journal, time she learned about the dreams her father had for her. He stood up, his eyes twinkling. "Well, I must go now, but we'll meet again. Destiny has a funny way of bringing people together." Before she could ask what he meant, he was gone. Suddenly, the warmth she'd felt was replaced by a chilling realization. Who was that man? What did he mean about destiny? Then she looked down at the journal in her hands. Her father's words seemed to glow on the page, and she knew she had to read them, to find out what her father had written, to discover the secrets of the stranger on the train. So, she began to read, and as she did, a smile spread across her face. She understood now why he'd called her name on the train, why he'd given her this journal. Years later, when she was just a girl, her father had met a man on a train. That man was meant to be her friend, meant to give her this journal when she was older. And when she'd looked into the man's eyes on the train, she'd seen her father's kindness shining back at her. Now she understood why her father had written those words, why he'd dreamed of her. He'd known her soul before he ever met her. Before she was born, their souls had recognized each other. It was a feeling she couldn't explain, a connection that went beyond anything she'd ever known. As she read through her father's words, she felt a sense of peace wash over her. His words were a balm to her soul, and she knew that he was with her in spirit, guiding her, loving her. She finished the last entry in the journal and closed it, tears streaming down her face. Then she looked up, searching for the stranger, but he was gone. She didn't know where he was or what had become of him, but she knew that he'd brought her something precious, a connection to her father, a glimpse into the soul of the man she'd never met. All because on a cold winter day, a man had whispered her name on the train. Thank you for watching. If you liked this story, please follow for more content. And don't forget to stay tuned for more stories like this. Until next time, goodbye.